Greetings, one and all, to the most cursed, most cringiest corner of the internet. A YouTube channel content creator actively alienating everyone in both the analog and digital world. Well, welcome and good evening, you wonderful dice of all alignments. I am Lunar D8. Their car stopped. What is it? Oh geez. Hey, isn't that the coach? The sound of the brakes startled Eerie, and he fell on his behind. Eerie was obviously the one who had been in the accident. Hey, coach! Is that your car? Shion-san. Are you alright, Dr. Eerie? You should go see a doctor. Here, I have this hand mirror to hand to you. Well, we'll take the coach to the clinic so he can treat himself, huh? Ha 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 ha! Can you stand up? I'll take you there. No, not the clinic. I can't go there. I have to go to the Sonozaki residence. Coach? Coach! What's going on? This isn't good. Kasai looked at Eerie's car, then looked around the area. Then he whispered to Shion. Shion-san, he must be in some kind of trouble. What kind? There are bullet holes in Dr. Eerie's car, and they don't seem to be from an ordinary handgun. Really? You take that end. Let's get him to the main house. The two of them loaded Eerie into the back seat, got in the car, and left in a hurry. We have to ask the coach what's going on. He can't go back to the clinic. I wonder what he means. It sounded like he was running away from someone there, but I don't know. It's obvious that he was involved in something dangerous. Hey, where are you going? Shion was confused as to why Kasai suddenly made a wrong turn. Dr. Eerie's pursuers aimed for the tire of his car. They wanted to capture him alive. His pursuers are likely close by. Are they after us? There's no car behind us and nothing in the air. In this area, we'd be impossible to follow unless they're tailing us. I'm going to make another left turn just to be safe, and then head to the main house. Could you watch what happens behind us? You got it. Security to HQ. The target was picked up by a civilian vehicle. I'm sending the license plate number and the car model. Roger that. Nightingale, your target is the civilian vehicle now. Search for it immediately. Try to capture Dr. Eerie alive. Neutralize the civilians as well, dead or alive. Are you sure? Are you going to find him? Don't worry. There's a tracking device on the director's coat. Really? Nightingale's vehicle can catch the signal, and they can pinpoint where he is. Eerie was lying in the back seat wearing his white coat. There was a device on his collar. The security department put it there just in case. So no matter how hard Shion tried to look for anyone following them, the enemy already knew exactly where they were. This is Nightingale 3. We found the vehicle. It just made a turn by the watermill. There was a map of Hinamizawa on the table in the security room. Again, you guys say Hinamizawa or Hinamizawa? The path by the watermill led to a certain private property. It belonged to the Sonozaki family, and the Sonozaki residence was the only building on it. Major. Hee. Oh my, like rats in a trap. This is Phoenix 1, Nightingale. Don't head in yet. Phoenix will join you in just a bit. We'll go in together. This is Nightingale 1, understood. Okanogi, don't give them any time. Why don't you let Nightingale go in? Zit, bad connections. Nobody listens to me. The Sonozaki family basement had a security system, which displayed images captured from the various security cameras on the property. Of course, it wasn't as high-tech as the one at the Erie Institute. It was in the room on the second floor of the gas show house? I'm not familiar with that. A Japanese-style room where you had to kneel in order to avoid hitting your head. Why would you want a room like that? With bundles of wires snaking away from the monitors, it felt like a hidden chamber. There was electricity and a phone nearby. Although it was in a basement, it had all the basic amenities of the Sonozaki residence. At first, all the club members had watched the monitor curiously, but after a while, it got too hot in such a tiny room. Mion and Rena stayed in the room to observe the monitor. Mi-chan, look, there's a car. That's Kasai-san's car. It's probably Shion. I bet she came because of the festival today. Geez, why did she have to come now? I don't have time for her. Their granny had been at the shrine since early in the morning, so there was nobody upstairs to answer the door. And if Mion didn't answer it, Shion would think that nobody was home. Mion wondered if she should tell Shion that what was going on. Shion could be helpful sometimes. Kasai's car stopped at the front gate. Someone was getting out of it. Huh? Mi-chan, look, isn't that the coach? What? They saw Shion and Kasai holding Erie on the monitor. Obviously, something serious had happened. Let's move. Rena, Kei-chan, come with me. Satoko, watch the monitor. Rika-chan, don't come up. Hanyu, make sure Rika-chan doesn't move. Leave it to me. I've got it. Maybe that's not fair. Maybe Okanogi had made the right decision. If he had let Nightingale go in as Takano had ordered, it would have been on the monitor. But Okanogi ordered them to stand by until another unit arrived, so they waited. So Mion didn't notice that the enemy was about to attack. By this time, there were many vehicles belonging to the Mountain Dogs parked by the windmill. Okanogi and Phoenix One had joined with Nightingale, and they were getting ready to head in. However, it had been a good idea to leave Satoko to watch the monitor, and if Mion hadn't gone out, Erie would have been killed. Mion didn't know it yet, but Erie was their only hope of rescuing Tomataki. So as a result, entirely by circumstance, they did everything correctly. Sis! I wonder if she's gone to the shrine already. Shion! Where did you come from? Ah, you were in the basement, weren't you? I'll tell the hag you were playing down there. Who cares about that? How is the coach? Coach! Is he alive? Huh? Are you all in trouble too? What's going on? Shi-chan, listen well. It's like this. Coach, what happened? Oh, I'm sorry. The Mountain Dogs got Tomataki-san. He's in the clinic's basement. I got in an accident while they were chasing me. Erie explained everything he could while enduring the pain. Everyone was happy to seem safe, but Mion's expression quickly grew stern. Then she asked Shion a question. Is anyone after you? Nobody was following us. Come on, let's go in. I have a bad feeling. They heard the sound of a car approaching, and it wasn't alone. Who could it be this time of day? It was a waste of precious seconds to even think that. You idiot! They are after you, Shion. I'm telling you, nobody was following us. Kasai picked up both sisters and ran through the gate. Let's go to the basement. It'll be safe there. But Mion-san, there are a lot of strange cars approaching. I know. Go back to the basement. I'll shut the door. Where's Rika-chan? She went into the secret room of Hanyu-san. This is Nightingale 6. We found the target. Some of R's friends are there too. Hee. R is hiding there, I know. Right. Jiro-san? Tomataki was lying on the floor with the security room. His hands and legs were cuffed, and there was another pair of handcuffs connected to them, leaving him bent backwards on the floor. That sounds uncomfortable. He couldn't get up or even turn around. Takano laughed and poked Tomataki's side with the toe of her shoe. The Mountain Dogs climbed over the fence easily. There was no need for anyone to explain at this point. It was obvious that they were the enemy, and that they were the mountain dogs that Rika had spoken about many times. They went through the grove of trees and headed for the entrance of the underground storehouse. The first 5 mountain dogs were supposed to capture them all, but they fell down one after the other. Just as one of the mountain dogs started to wonder why they fell, he felt something on his leg. The next moment, he went flying through the air. Shit! As he stood up, his leg got pulled again. He realized then there was a rope wrapped around his leg. Because of all the way he fell, the rope was wrapped tightly around it and wouldn't come off easily. Be careful! There are traps in the bushes. Satoko had set up lots of traps in the bushes. After all, she wouldn't just sit around all day on an empty property. The club members headed into the underground storehouse one after another. The mountain dogs couldn't do anything, although they did see them. I'm closing the door. Come on, help me. Here we go. It was a heavy door, but when they put their strength together, it closed easily. Mia unlocked the door quickly, putting on the deadbolt for good measure. Do you think this will be enough? Don't you think they'll break this door? Don't you think? I saw 5 or 6, no, perhaps even more cars on the monitor. They're all vans. I saw strange men inside of them. I don't think this door will be broken that easily, but I'd imagine they are used to doing things like this. We shouldn't underestimate them. Before he could even finish speaking, someone pounded on the door. The second group of mountain dogs had arrived. Although the heavy door was separating them, it wasn't at all comforting to know that the enemy was just on the other side. I'm sorry. It's all my fault. You haven't done anything wrong. Let's go farther in. Yeah, let's find out how many there are on the monitor. Okay, fine. Leave me out of this. I'm just an outcast. Oh, shut up. I'll explain when I have 5 minutes to spare. Nightingale 1 to Phoenix 1. The targets are in the basement. There is a steel door here, and we can't break through. Phoenix 1, roger that. Shit. This Sonozaki family must be so rich. The property is too huge for us to surround, so we won't even try. Let's join Nightingale. Nightingale, knock some trees down. We'll use them to ram down the door. Phoenix 7 to Phoenix 1. We have some plastic explosives for indoor use. Do you want us to get them ready? Plastic explosives are explosives for military use. There are various kinds, different kinds, but he was talking about the type specifically made to break down doors. Okanogli momentarily thought it was a good idea, but changed his mind right away. This is a small village. If there was an explosion, everybody would hear. It was daytime, and they were on the surface. It was the worst time and place for the mountain dogs to do their job. An explosion isn't a good idea. Wait a minute. What time is it now? It's almost 10 a.m. I see. Phoenix 7, we'll do it. Get the fuse ready. Huh? Commander, what does 10 a.m. have to do with an explosion? Okanogi's mind was working sharper than ever. He was sure that this would work. Everyone gathered in the secret room. Is everyone okay? Ow, ow. Ow. We were watching the monitor. Ooh, ooh. There are about 30 guys out there. That many? That's not good. Can I see? Look, they don't know what to do. When Mion touched a switch, the screen switched to the view of the entrance to the basement. Some of the mountain dogs were checking out the door. They didn't appear to be trying to force it open. They were simply at a loss for what to do. What do you think they'll do now? They think we're trapped rats in here, so I'm sure they're going to try breaking open the door. What the heck? What are they going to do with that log? They must be thinking of using it as a battering ram. Satoko just said they were assuming we're trapped rats. We should get out of here while they're trying to open the door. I agree. Besides, we have to rescue Tomataki-san. You're right. No matter how strong the door is, we'll be in trouble if they find us. I think it's time for us to escape. That's kind of why it would be a good idea if we had like AK-47s in here. Like, I'm pretty sure Ren and Keiichi with an AK-47 would... that's the whole point of assault weapons. So people can actually... An individual can defend themselves from a large group of people attacking. 'Cause that's the main purpose of guns. To hunt wildlife and self-defense. Also to fight off foreign invading armies. Sis, don't you think we should call the police? Oh yeah, we completely forgot about that. Even if a spy at the police station overhears us, there really isn't much he can do at this point anyway. I'm sure Rishi will come right over. Mion picked up the phone. Why hadn't she thought about this earlier? What? What's the matter? Mion panicked as she tried to listen for the dial tone. They cut the phone lines. The phone. What's going on? I don't hear anything. They must have cut the line. What? Suddenly everything went dark. What? Is this a power failure? Kasai lit his cigarette lighter, and Mion turned her emergency flashlight on. This is the drawback about a basement. But they won't be able to see either, right? I know, but they might have some kind of device that lets them see in the dark. Night vision goggles, don't you think? Mion-san, why do you think they cut the electricity? Are they just going on the offensive? If nothing else, it worked to turn the security system off. They were checking out the door. They didn't give up. They have a way to destroy the door. And they don't want us to notice. That's why they cut the electricity. Are they going to blow up the door? The door could be destroyed in a second, so we can't stay here, right? Mi-chan. Let's get out of here. Show us the way to the hidden escape route. Again, do you guys say route or route? This way, everyone. Mion was getting confused amidst all the chaos. She hadn't underestimated the mountain dogs. She even considered that they would have some explosives, but she didn't think they would use them in Hinamizawa. Again, do you guys say Hinamizawa or Hinamizawa? In broad daylight. Somebody will hear the explosion. Is there even such a thing as a silent explosive? What a rough bunch. They're not even concerned with minor risks. This is a crazy situation, but the mountain dogs are always very, very careful. I don't know about Takano-san, but there's no way Okanogi-san would allow an explosion in the middle of the day. Yet they're still going to do it, huh? They've got guts. I don't know much about them, but just like a silencer on a gun, aren't there like silent explosives? No way. No matter what you do, an explosion sounds like an explosion. Guys, during this conversation, we could, be escaping. Talk and walk at the same time. Oh, I get it. You're a staff member of the festival, aren't you, Coach? What time did they let people know if the festival is going to take place? I'm pretty sure it's at 10 a.m. Oh no! Oh! Do you think, just like on a track and field day? If you want to hide a tree, hide it in the forest, huh? Rika knew Okanogi well. He would always complain about how he had to guard her like she was a princess. Rika had never expected Okanogi to be so sharp. That was why she was more frustrated than anyone else. The mountain dogs had quickly set explosives on the basement door. Long wires were connected to the explosives, and the mountain dogs were waiting at the other end, lying flat on the ground. One of the members was holding a detonation switch. All the wires were linked to it. It's almost 10. This morning I thought it was bad luck that this happened on the day of the Tanagashi festival, but now I'm glad about it. Okanogi had realized that he could use the festival effectively. He was going to make sure his enemies got what they deserved. On the morning of a village event, they used fireworks to let everyone know that an event is going to take place that day. This method is often used for track and field days at school. Since Tanagashi starts in the evening, the fireworks go up at 10 a.m. The fireworks, of course, make loud, explosive noises. Since Hinamizawa is located in a ravine, the sound echoes, making it hard to figure out where it's coming from. And that was an advantage for the mountain dogs. Now! A loud noise and a shock shook the ground like an earthquake. The explosion must have warped support beams everywhere. There was a discomforting squeaky noise, and dust fell from the ceiling. It certainly was powerful. The explosion must have blown the door wide open. An explosion that took place without anyone noticing it. Come on, this way. Mion led everyone into one of the rocky caves. There was a well-hidden shaft in there. They called it a hidden well, but it was actually a very eerie vertical tunnel. They didn't have enough flashlights for everyone, so there was no way for them to see the entirety of the ominous hidden well. Are you telling us to go down there? How far does this go? There is a horizontal tunnel crossing it after about 30 meters. We can get into the mountains through that tunnel. Okay, then why don't you go first, sis? You know the way around here better than anyone. Huh? Do I have to? Who else? Kasai and I will be the rear guard. Come on, hurry. Okay. Mion was going to volunteer to take the rear. But Mion and Shion knew instinctively, because there were so many of them, the rear might not make it in time. Unlike the iron door at the entrance, once the enemies were inside, all they'd have to do was go through the inner doors, which was very easily breakable. The route was basically a straight line. They probably won't get lost on their way. That's why Shion took the rear guard position before Mion did. After all, she was actually the older sister. Shion wanted to protect her younger sister, who was playing the older sister in this real emergency. Mion intuitively knew what Shion was thinking. Mion understood well the relationship between her and her sister and herself. She wasn't the only one who felt guilty for taking the older sister's position. Shion felt guilty for making Mion take on the responsibility of the family head. And here, finally, was a chance for Shion to atone. Mion-san, do you have the key to the armory? Now is the time to open it. Mion silently threw over the key. Kasai and Shion took it and ran deep into the rock tunnel. Listen, everyone. It's about 30 meters to the horizontal tunnel. If you fall, that's it for you. It's dark, so be very careful as you go down. If you end up waiting, make sure to light the way for the others, okay? I think only one or two can go down at the same time. I'll go first. Come on, give me some light. Mion-san, be careful. The ones with flashlights, you be careful too. If the lights were on, they could have gone down quickly. There were actually a few light bulbs inside of the well. Of course, Mion had already checked them. It was now certain that the enemy had cut the power to the basement. It was extremely dangerous to go down this well with just the little light from the flashlights. As one went down, there had to be people lighting up the way. Mion was right. She realized as she went down herself that it was almost impossible to go down the ladder without the weak light from the flashlights. The lights didn't reach all the way down. In the darkness, her feet suddenly became unsteady. Every step she took made her more nervous. It was about 30 meters to the horizontal tunnel. That's quite deep enough already. But the hidden well went deeper than that. If Mion fell, she wouldn't just injure herself. Hasn't it been 30 meters yet, she thought? She couldn't even remember exactly how long 30 meters was. Had she missed the horizontal tunnel already? At that time, she felt a cool breeze on her body. She could sense a huge hole nearby, so she took out a flashlight to light the surrounding area. She saw the black tunnel yawning before her. Oh, okay. Here I go. Okay. I found the tunnel. Rika-chan, come down. Mion lit up the way from below. Okay. You're next, Rika-chan. Coach, you go next, then Hanyu, then Satoko, okay? Let's move. Can't Hanyu just go down using her ghost powers? Iri wanted to say that he would go last, but Rena gave the order first. They couldn't get into the basement at the clinic without Iri. Without him, they couldn't rescue Tomataki. Their lives were all equally important, but at least for the moment, his was the second most vital after Rika. Please be careful. I'll light your way. Okay. Come on, everyone. Hurry up. Rika! Rika was much shorter than Mion. She couldn't go down the ladder as easily. Her legs were too short, and her left foot slipped. I'm okay. Damn it. I'm sick of this life where I never grow up. I'll pass through the June of 1983, and I'll grow taller. My boobs will get bigger. I won't stay like this forever. Though she had been living for over 100 years, Rika was still afraid of heights. I don't think you grow out of that. I think you could live for 1,000,000 years, and you'll still be scared of heights. As she fought that fear, she tried to climb down as quickly as possible. After a while, the light from the top didn't reach her anymore, and Mion's light from below lit her way. Mion's light was enough. The next person could come down. I'm okay. Whoever's next can go. Okay. Coach, you're up next. You're a grown man, so go down quickly. He's also injured. Right. I'll go next. You know what would help if we all chugged a Red Bull before this? The mountain dogs moved forward carefully, wearing special goggles so they could see in the dark. The one in front noticed Satoko's trap and stopped the rest of the men. Nightingale 7 to Nightingale 1, I just found a wire trap. Be careful coming in. Roger that. Phoenix 1, there are more traps. Why don't we turn the lights back on? Idiot! That'll only help them escape more easily. They must be having troubles trying to escape in this darkness. We have to give them as much trouble as possible. Corner them in the darkness, and we'll get them. This is a huge cave system. There must be another way out. They won't try to hide. They'll try to escape. Give the assault units some firearms, bulletproof shields, and grenades. The Sonozakis are basically a major Yakuza group. Assume they can counter us with smuggled guns, which means watch out for those tripwires and claymores, unless you want to end up with thousands of lead pills in your body. They'll shred you apart. Roger. Satoko's traps were effective only because they were professionals. Satoko had assumed weren't. Any professionals would misinterpret her traps as more dangerous ones. That was why she ran wires everywhere. And they were effective because, okay, they're taking careful. And Satoko was right. Although mountain dogs were successful in breaking down the iron door, they hadn't even reached the torture room. However, the huge cave with the hidden well was just on the other side of the door to the torture room. It was just a matter of time before the enemy caught them. Okay, Rena, you're next. Yep. You come down and hurry too, Keiichi-kun. Kei-chan, how is it up there? Rena is coming down right now. She's moving right along. Okay, don't fall. The rumors say that all the people who ever opposed Sonozaki family were dumped into this well. It's a bottomless pit. What? Shion? What the heck are you carrying around? Shion returned with a big machine gun in her hands. What the heck? Keiichi thought. It's one of those machine guns they use in war movies. Its defining characteristic is the way the magazine is bent forward. What's it called again? Kasai had one in his hands too. He appeared used to handling machine guns. It almost didn't look real, but it seemed like a natural fit for this surreal world lit only by flashlights. Keiichi felt like the odd one out here since he didn't know how to use a gun. You point and you pull a trigger. Shion and Kasai hid on the opposite side of the cave so they could see the entrance to the torture room. Not only Kasai, but Shion also seemed to doing these things like that. They did go to America to get training. Shion, I'll do that. So why don't you go down next? Thank you for the manly offer, Kei-chan. But it'd be much quicker if you went down swiftly than if I had to explain how this Kalashnikov works. It's Russian. Don't worry. A pretty girl like me will never die. As Shion winked at Keiichi, they heard a door being knocked down nearby. Immediately, Shion and Kasai turned stern, and they took cover behind the rocks, aiming their guns into the darkness. The enemies had entered the torture room. There was a flashlight next to the door. Kasai had left it there. The mountain dogs seemed to be able to see in the darkness, even though they couldn't. So it was an improvised solution. The footsteps of the mountain dogs were growing closer, so they were passing through the torture room. In other words, the door was the only thing separating them from their enemies. Keiichi-kun, hurry! Shion, you go first. Shion-san? If something happens to you and I live, my sister will never forgive me for that. I don't have my loved one anymore, but she does. Huh? What are you talking about? Now of all times. I don't plan to die, but please tell Shion this. I want us to be twins again in the next life. Get going. Shion yelled, telling Keiichi to move on. He didn't understand why Shion said to tell Shion, but she asked him, so he had to convey that message. Otherwise, if something terrible really did happened, Shion's message would never reach Mion. An explosion shook the air. Something was thrown in from the torture room. The explosion from that and the noise from Kasai's machine gun sounded at the same time. The clamor echoed in the cave. All I can do as those violent flashes of light burn the series of images into my eyes is shed tears over my own intolerable powerlessness and climb down the ladder. Mion quickly screamed from below. I descended and screamed up to the top too. Nightingale 1. They attacked us. The enemies are trying to stop us from the huge cave on the other side of the torture room. There were 2 muzzle flashes, probably AKs. Whoever it is, he's a professional. Phoenix 1, give us an order. There we go. Our opponent is a professional. Don't go in unless you graduated from the killing house. Nightingale 1 and 2, Phoenix 7 and 8, get ready to move. How many firearms do we have? We have 4 MP5s and plenty of grenades. We can't trust our bulletproof shields, so we abandoned them. There is a flashlight on the right next to that entrance. I'm assuming they don't have a device to see in the dark. Nightingale 1 here. We're going in. Throw in some grenades when I give you the signal. While the enemies were quiet, Kasai changed his magazine. Shion-san, that's enough. Please go. If I go, they'll all fire at you while you reload. You can't do it by yourself. There was a contradiction in what Shion just said. According to her theory, the last two can never escape. Mion kept shouting from the tunnel below. Damn it, Shion! Hurry up and come down! Everyone knows it wasn't safe to stay, but nobody can stop Mion from screaming. Mion and I will wait for Shion here. Ren, why don't you take everyone else and escape into the hills? Okay. No, I don't want to lose anybody. Rika? This is the final world. There is no more starting over. I don't want either Shion or Kasai to die. I don't want... a future like that. I know we can't redo it, so no, I don't want it. Shion, please come down. As they looked up to the top of the well, they saw a violent flash and heard a roar. Then they heard explosive sounds, different from the sounds of the machine guns that Shion and Kasai were using. They also heard a tinkling sound, which could have been the sound of bullet shells. They couldn't see anything other than the flashing lights. Only the noise reached them. When everything stopped, after a little silence, footsteps that didn't belong to Shion or Kasai gathered at the top of the well. They could hear hard-soled shoes kicking bullet shells as they walked. It's clear. Nightingale 1 to Phoenix 1. We've secured the loopholes. That voice echoed down the hall, the well, and Mion and the others heard it too. They didn't know how to react. Some became speechless. Some started to cry. Some let out a wordless scream. They looked up the well as they waited for Shion and Kasai to come down, but there was no sign of them. A bright beam of light shone down from the top of the well. Eri grabbed Mion and Kichi's collars and pulled them back, but they could see in the dark. They might already know that Kichi and the others are hiding in the horizontal tunnel. Roger, we'll try. Can you hear us? You don't need to reply, just listen. A guy shouted from the top of the well. We want the Queen Carrier. Rika Furude and Director Eri. Suki. You've misunderstood something. We are here to eradicate a unique local disease. What's happening right now is because we suspect the director's involvement in a conspiracy. You have nothing to do with this. Turn them over to us. They had already turned all the flashlights off, so nobody could tell what kind of expressions were on each other's faces. But I could sense Mion's expression distorting, and because of the darkness, nobody knew to stop her from screaming. You murderer! You killed Shion! Oh, are you talking about this girl? Don't worry. She's still alive. She's just unconscious. She's alive. She's alive, Mi-chan. Mion didn't rest easy at their announcement, though. Because she knew Shion's survival wouldn't help resolve this situation. Same with this guy. He's alive, too. But if you refuse to turn those two over to us, we'll have to use them both as bargaining chips. What are you going to do to them? As Mion looked up at the top of the well in the dark, it suddenly became very bright and she saw something unbelievable. Shion was unconscious, and one of the men was holding her. He was basically sticking her body out over the edge of the well. If the man let go of Shion, she would fall to the bottom. They had no idea how far down it went. There was no way she'd survive. Shion! Shion didn't reply, but she moved just a little bit. Shion was alive, at least for the moment. No. No way. They won't push her off. Huh? What are you saying? They can easily kill a hostage if they have more than one. They have Shion and Kasai. He'll push Shion off and just ask the same question again. He means it. Mion lashed out fiercely at Kiichi. He regretted saying what he just did. I'll give you a little time to think, but after 60 seconds the first hostage will go down. Think it over very carefully. What should we do? Mion was half crazed with fear and panic. They want me. Let them think Rika-san has already escaped and I'll go. They should be satisfied with just me. That plan sounded like the best idea for minimizing damage, but Rena quietly spoke up. No. Shi-chan and Kasai risked their lives to buy time so we could escape. If you went back, what they did would be wasted. Then what do you suggest we do? Are you saying we should just let Shion die? Are you saying you don't care if Shion dies, Rena? Fucking damn you! Please stop, Mion-san. I don't know what to do either. Because Shion-san is my... Nene? Because, you know, the other one's Nini. So is that pronounced Nene? Wow, Shion. Mion started to cry as she held Satogo's head. The mountain dog's beam of light shone into the horizontal tunnel. Their eyes had grown used to the darkness. So even with a little light, they could sort of see one another. But so what? This was a desperate situation, and Mion and Satogo continued to cry. Rena bit her lower lip, trying to hold her feelings in. I'm hoping Akasaka comes in this situation and attacks everyone from behind. Because he was supposed to be coming here as well. And it'd be about that time he should be getting here. Rena bit her lower lip, trying to hold her feelings in. Eri simply looked down. And as for Rika and Hanyu, they were restless. What do we do, Hanyu? I don't know what to do. I don't know either. Hey, you're a god, aren't you? Do something. Do something. Use your psychic powers to knock the enemies down. Help Shion. Only a miracle can save her. You're a god. Make a miracle happen. Slap. They all heard a strange sound. Everyone was surprised to see what caused it. Hanyu just slapped Rika in the face. Rika, listen to me. Hanyu? We both have experienced many worlds, and we have learned much. Sometimes you learn, and sometimes I learned. We've learned so many important things, and now in this world, we've learned the most important thing. Something we've been pursuing, something we finally got. Do you know what that is? It was how to make a miracle happen. A miracle is like a number you get on a die. People think that the result of the roll depends on God's mood. God holds the key to miracles. Humans don't have the right to control them. But although humans don't have the right, they can perceive. They can perceive how to improve their odds and how they can make a miracle happen. How to make a miracle happen? Rika, you should already know. You learned it before I did. This world must be precious to you. Why don't you try it this one last time? Rika's mouth hung open. That's right, she thought. I had forgotten again how to make a miracle happen. You all go ahead and escape. Rika stood up. Everyone was surprised to hear what she said. Eri, take them. I'll go out there. Takano means to kill us both, but she wants to kill me in a certain way. She won't kill me for a while. Are you kidding? You'll end up dead anyway. If I don't go, she and Kasai will be killed. I'll let them capture me. This time it will take Takano. The time it will take Takano to kill me will give you a chance to counterattack. Rika-chan. Thinking about it now, the answer was very simple. As she spoke, Rika stepped out of the horizontal tunnel and reached the ladder. The beam of light shone down upon her. In this dark world, her figure seemed almost holy, like someone receiving a divine revelation. Because we all believe we can win. You, me, and even God believe in it. This is nothing. Nipa! Rika's smile told them that she trusted them 100%. She believed someone would come to rescue her before she got killed. That was why she didn't mind letting the enemy capture her. If it would save Shion and Kasai's lives, then it was nothing. I'm coming up right now. This is Okinogi to Takano. Rika fell down the well and died. Pull Shion back, okay? The mountain dogs pulled Shion's body away from the edge of the well. If you even think of touching my friends, I'll bite my tongue and kill myself. Takano wants to kill me personally, so if that happens, you'll be in big trouble, okay? Alright. Come on up. Let all of my friends go. According to our plan, they'll all die anyway. No, we can't do that. We won't kill them, but we have to restrain them. Well, that's a pity. Farewell. It'll be faster to let go of this ladder than to bite my tongue. This is a very deep well. If you can't produce my corpse, then that ruins your plans too, doesn't it? As long as I captured Rika, the mountain dogs didn't really care about the others. They were ready to kill the rest if they resisted once they had Rika. That's why they wouldn't agree to Rika's request. They started to think that maybe they should just lie to Rika, but that was when they heard something. Hanyu started to speak in a clear voice. It was a voice with a very mysterious tone. It sounded like it was coming from below the surface of the earth, but it also sounded like it was coming from heaven. Hanyu spoke. I am saying I accept the deal. Quit complaining and do as she says, lowlifes. Lowlifes. Rika Furude is coming up. You will fulfill her little request. Heaven will not provide to those who won't offer anything themselves. Stop thinking above yourselves, humans. Know your place in the sin of pretending to be more. Nightingale 1, the member who had been demanding their surrender, was suddenly overcome by a strange sensation. He had been in such an advantageous position, but somehow it didn't seem that way anymore. And that girl's voice, there was something strange about it. The voice belonged to something both holy and sacred. He instinctively sensed it. Humans can only negotiate with other humans. It's impossible to negotiate with the being greater than all humans. But wait. I'll check with the commander. Wait a minute. Nightingale to Phoenix 1? He had been very threatening until just a minute previous, but he had grown completely perplexed. Everyone was stunned by Rika and Hanyu's mysterious auras. We will come rescue you right away. Okay? Rena muttered as she tried to hold back her tears. Okay, we'll accept your request. We'll let everyone else go. Rika Furuta, you come up. Major Takano says there's something she wants to talk to you about. Okay, I'm coming up. Nipa! Have we ever been looking for you, Rika? Rika-san, you're such an important person, so you can't just disappear like that, you know? That's against the rules. Meep. Rika-san, we'll take you back to the clinic. Everyone else is free to go. The assault unit that led Rika away headed back into the basement. They were about to break the rules too. You aren't going to keep that promise, are you? A promise? What are you talking about? Tish. Whoa there, we don't want you to bite your tongue. Hey. As Rika tried to run, Okanogi grabbed her fragile arm. She fought back, but her resistance meant nothing against him. One of the mountain dogs took out a syringe from a case. It shouldn't kill her, but it would probably put Rika to sleep. Takano, after all, didn't need a chatty Rika. She just needed a live Queen Carrier. If Rika got that shot, then that will mean the end of this world. Before Rika could scream, the other dog covered her mouth. Hurry up and give her the shot. The dog with the syringe drew closer to Rika's arm. Rika was being grabbed from behind and her mouth was covered. There was no way for her to fight. I believe. Even if I'm asleep, I believe. Rika kept repeating that in her mind. She believed that someone would wake her up. And that the first thing she'd see when she opened her eyes would be her, again, do you guys say beloved or beloved? Friends. It happened all of a sudden. The man with the syringe spun twice in the air and dropped to the ground. Nobody, including Okanogi, could understand this sudden phenomenon. It defied the very laws of physics. Rika couldn't understand either. Again, do you guys say either or either? The man, I just sort of say either one or either one, depending on whatever I feel like at the time. The man who was holding Rika from behind spoke up. I made it. His voice had such a heavy feeling imbued in it. I regretted it in countless worlds. Whenever I realized it, it was too late. What? Who are you? The others took a few steps back, away from Rika and the man holding her. There are many units within the Mountain Dogs, so often its members don't remember each other's faces. There were just too many units, so nobody really paid attention. All of the Mountain Dogs were more or less well built. But this man had an excellent physique. Even Okanogi noticed that he'd never seen anyone like that in one of his units before. Rather, he actually wanted to recruit him. But, this is what I've been longing to tell you all this time. Rika-chan, I came. To help you. Akasaka! Damn you! The hands that were holding Rika left her shoulders. They were left ever so gently. And as soon as they did, they transformed to a pair of furious fists, which implanted themselves in the faces of the men attacking him from behind. They flew through the air. Akasaka hit those two without even turning around. 5 members of the Mountain Dogs surrounded Akasaka. However, he didn't even see them. He could only feel the deep emotion of finally being able to do what he had been longing to do. And the 5 of them sensed it, that maybe, just maybe, he didn't even care that they were there. What are you doing just standing there? Get him! On Okanogi's signal, the 5 Mountain Dogs bore down on Akasaka. Rika-chan, stay low. Okay. Rika dropped to the ground and Akasaka was left standing. Akasaka, who came back to keep a promise. He made with the girl 5 years ago. But his promise was worth more than 5 years. Rika knew that. Akasaka probably understood it too. The promise went back 100 years. For 100 years, he regretted not being able to save her from the conspiracy. He believed that one day there would be a miracle, and he could travel back to this day. That was why he continued to train himself. His strong will and Rika's wish made that miracle happen. That one and only miracle allowed Akasaka to be here in Hinamizawa, in June 1983. The first one went down in the time it took Okanogi to blink. Lowering himself to grapple Akasaka had proved fatal. He wasn't so soft as to let such a perfect openings go by. Akasaka's hands smashed into the back of the man's head. His blow was powerful enough to smash a pillar of ice or shatter a mountain of tiles. As it happened, Akasaka was holding back a little, so that his target wasn't too injured. Akasaka goes all out from the very first shot. That's why he needs only one shot. He is unrelenting. Akasaka's well-trained fists continued to knock down the Mountain Dogs, 1 member for every time Okanogi blinked. 1 hit per opponent was all Akasaka needed. This was the true essence of karate. Akasaka's colleagues praised and feared his power. His power is like armor-piercing ammunition. Weapons were useless against him. No matter how hard his victim tried to protect himself, it meant nothing to Akasaka, but he was too strong for the Mountain Dogs to even understand that. It was as if he was a giant they had to crane their necks up to see. Akasaka didn't even give them time to think. Someone from the Mountain Dogs must have called for backup. About a dozen more members had arrived. Don't worry, Rika-chan. As long as I'm here, I won't let them touch you. Meep. I'll draw some pictures while I wait then. As Rika stayed low to the ground, she picked up a stick and started to carve into the dirt. That made Okanogi even angrier, but he calmed himself down. Then the warrior's intuition resting on Okanogi's blood came to a realization. Numbers didn't matter. Even the full force of the Mountain Dogs wouldn't be able to defeat this monster. All the combat units were still down in the basement. There was no way they could take him. Okay, I guess I have to take you down, huh? By the way, I remember you now. Your face brings back memories. Boy, you sure to grown, huh? You. It can't be. You don't recognize me? It sure has been a while, huh? You've grown a hell of a lot. Good to see you again. It had been 5 years. This was the man Akasaka fought when he was investigating the kidnapping of the minister's grandson. Akasaka had still been inexperienced then. I was ordered to go easy on you, so I held back. But I won't hold back today. And that fat guy won't come help you either. Still, you sure have improved a lot in the past 5 years, huh? I'm happy. I've been hoping for something like this for 5 long years. The rest of you, you stay out of this. He's mine. He's mine. Okanogi took off all of his equipment and threw it on the ground. He loosened one button and then positioned himself. Seeing that, Akasaka realized he was somewhat capable and narrowed his eyes in vigilance. Okanogi took that as an insult, that Akasaka only thought he was somewhat capable. His behavior was telling Okanogi that he viewed him on the same level as the other small fry. Akasaka first moved to take up his stance and avoid Rika getting involved. Akasaka hadn't even moved one bit until just then. Okanogi could easily see that Akasaka was extremely strong, but at the same time he thought he would be fairly simple to take down. Karate may be a martial art, but nowadays it was just a sport. The army combat Okanogi trained in was completely different. Obviously, Akasaka had studied a lot, but it was all just child's play. All he learned was routine moves and forms. Besides, karate moves are fairly straightforward. Okanogi was confident that he could fight any karate pro and win. Okanogi started leaning onto his toes and using his meticulous footwork. In contrast, Akasaka still hadn't moved from his back stance. Akasaka was acting as if Okanogi's footwork was simply a trick, which infuriated Okanogi. Okanogi moved fiercely and nimbly in a manner completely different from how Akasaka was moving earlier. Akasaka remained calm, but Okanogi saw it differently. He can't react to my movements, so he's prepared to take damage in order to deal more. Whoa. Akasaka couldn't defend himself for Okanogi's quick jab, and it connected with his face. It was a quick but light attack. Its purpose was to distract Akasaka and create an opening for Okanogi. Okanogi knew that Akasaka would use his arms to guard his face instinctively. Okanogi's real purpose was to attack his abdomen, which would then be unguarded. Of course, Akasaka didn't have enough time to guard himself. It took more than just good kinetic vision to prevent his attack. Only Okanogi, who trained for many years, had perfected the speed of that technique. Normal people would struggle helplessly while vomiting if they were to experience Okanogi's kick. It could even rupture internal organs. So it was pretty amazing that Akasaka was still on his feet. What's the matter, Mr. Karate? Can't you fight back? What? Akasaka mumbled something, but Okanogi couldn't hear. Actually, he did hear it, but Okanogi never imagined he could say such a thing in this situation. So he couldn't hear it. He couldn't comprehend it. Too light. What did you just say? Your attack is only meant to defeat your opponent. That's why there's no weight to it. Huh? What are you talking about? Karate nourishes you spiritually. To attack others, you have to learn to be attacked. When one learns how much pain and grief their own blow deals to others, they finally understand the meaning of striking another and being struck. You aren't even close to that level, and that's why your attack has no weight to it. By that logic, I should be able to, punch through bricks. I'm pretty sure I've been punched and kicked probably 1,000,000 times. Though, thankfully, that's been mostly in the past, a really long time ago. Mostly when I was a teenager, but hey. Just saying. Being punched lots and lots sucks. I did not enjoy that. Are you saying that I'm still immature? Okanogi attacked Akasaka again, but this time Akasaka was different. Akasaka blocked Okanogi's fists and legs. Of course, Okanogi was still the only one attacking, but Akasaka had started to become much more aggressive, now as Okanogi attacked his hands and legs were being injured. Okanogi instinctively sensed that he was in trouble. He'd thought that Akasaka was just a police officer, but his movements were too dangerous. He was merciless. He was dangerous. So Akasaka's training and experience must far surpass Okanogi's. Wait, that dynamic heel kick isn't karate, is it? Akasaka's heel kick missed Okanogi's head by a millimeter. You do something other than karate, don't you? No, I only do karate. Don't lie. Some of the moves you're doing aren't karate at all. Okanogi was starting to become impatient. The reason Okanogi ridiculed martial arts as a sport was because they were all hard-headed and only used set moves. This is how you strike in karate. This is how you punch in boxing. This is how you throw in judo. It's easy to learn, and that's why it's easy to win. But Akasaka was different. He said that he only did karate, and he must have spent unthinkable hours training. Well, I think the best way to put it is this. And again, I do not even know the basics of karate. I can fully admit that. While I have looked into various martial arts forms, I can tell you this. I don't even qualify as a beginner on any of those disciplines. Yet, even those who are, at least air quotes, masters of the disciplines themselves, at least in terms of the strict forms like Okanogi was saying, that's still a starting point. Because a further point of that is, if you're able to know the things instinctively, heck, there are some people that do enough of the forms that their body reacts by reflexes, it's a muscle memory thing, like someone playing guitar or drawing. That being said, there is something said for someone who not only has trained muscle memory level of it, but also the ability to adapt not only through actual experience, but also by being able to just change up the form and move it in ways that were not in the strict form, but allow you to adapt to the situation. That being said, that's the best I can explain that. And I can honestly say that no amount of training would ever... Then again, who knows? Like I said, I'm not even an amateur. But then again, I'm just saying... The point I'm trying to say is that it would require a great deal of experience and discipline and hard work to accomplish those things. And I feel that even to be the most amateurish of amateurs, I feel I haven't even put in 1/1000th of the effort required for that. Plus, I really am doubtful of my own physical ability, as well as my own, skill when it comes to such things. So I'm certainly not qualified to be like a karate instructor or anything, but I've always had an interest in such things. But I'm just saying, there are probably people out there that have trained enough that not only do they know all of the moves of their form by heart and can even react and do them by muscle memory, but there's probably people that are able to adapt and change them as whatever situation requires, and can probably make variations of them for different situations and be able to use those instinctively. Now, the question is there footage of such a person available on YouTube capable of such a thing? My ear itches. But yeah, I guess the main thing I'm just trying to say is this. Anybody even, actively taking a martial arts or working on it, that's very admirable. And that's a lot of hard work in and of itself. But anybody who would train to the level that Akasaka is, albeit he's a fictional character, that's something that would take an incredible deal of hard work. Now, that being said, if anybody knows of any actual people who have recorded footage of them who can be compared to Akasaka, let me know. I'd like to actually watch that footage. So if it's on YouTube, I'd like to see it. And he must have spent unthinkable hours training. Yet he was flexible enough not to be confined only by formatted moves. That was understanding at a spiritual level. The spirit of martial arts isn't just forms. One simply learns forms to reach that spiritual level. Yeah. Now, that being said, again, that would take an unthinkable amount of time. Like, you'd have to put a great deal of hours. Heck, I remember there's a certain thing, like, when it comes to languages, there's a certain ranking system in terms of how fluent a person is in languages. I think it's rated like A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. It's ways that you categorize how fluent someone is in speaking a language. It's applied to any time somebody learns a new language. And of course, then there are measurements of those different things per language. For example, there's those 6 levels of fluency, and there's different measurements per language. Like, if you were to, like, say, learn, say, French or Chinese, there would be a different amount of hours that would be required to attain each level of fluency, because certain languages are considered easier for people to learn, though it also is impacted by what your native language is as well. But also by the so it's the complexity of the language, as well as your own native language and how your native language compares to what you're trying to learn. Because obviously, if you're trying to learn something that's much more different than what you're used to, it would create an increased difficulty. Therefore, for one who has reached it, there are no forms. What Akasaka had was a philosophical spirit. I'm disappointed in you. Okay. I want to see Akasaka in Baki the Grappler. Akasaka versus Yujiro. I'm disappointed in you. Shit! Akasaka stepped away from his original spot for the first time. He moved forward. He filled the space between Okanogi and himself, his inescapable conviction. As Akasaka walked closer to Okanogi, Akasaka's assault radius tried to swallow him whole. To be within that radius meant death. Okanogi walked backward to avoid being in that radius. That was as a result of his clear-headed judgment, not because he was scared. You don't even know the meaning of an attack. I'll teach you just how significant it can be. Ooh. As Okanogi moved backwards, his back hit the van he came in earlier. He was cornered. Having your back to a wall didn't mean you were at a disadvantage, but the more it was pressed against that wall, the further a disadvantage it became. Okanogi wouldn't even be able to take a combat stance. Okanogi decided immediately. The last chance he had was the moment before Akasaka took his next step. Akasaka's foot left the ground. He was taking another step. Now. Go to hell! No tricks, no feints. Okanogi lowered himself and attacked with everything he had. The attack was powerful enough to break Akasaka's rib cage and rupture his heart. I'm a professional, Okanogi told himself. I can't be defeated by this amateur. I'm Okanogi of the Mountain Dogs. Good for you. So how much did you get paid? Huh? At that moment, Akasaka's eyes opened wide. Whoa! All the Mountain Dogs heard a noise. It wasn't the noise of people fighting. It was the noise of a traffic accident. Okanogi's blow missed by a slight amount, and Akasaka's fist struck inches away from Okanogi's face. There was a dent in the sliding door of the van. So would Akasaka have broken his hand doing that? I'm just saying this. If I were to punch a van door hard enough to... Well, let's be clear. I wouldn't put a dent in the sliding door of a van, no matter how hard I punched it. And I was about to say, like, if I punched a van door hard enough to put a dent in, I'd break my hand. But let's be clear. Even if I punched a van door as hard as I could and left no dent whatsoever in the van door, I'd still break my hand. It looked like the van was in an accident. That reminds me of something. I remember Sylvester Stallone, when he was recording with... I don't remember the guy's name. He was a Russian dude. It was like, I think a Rocky 2 maybe. I don't remember like obviously Rocky was played by Sylvester Stallone. But then there was this one guy who he was playing some Russian dude. He was a Russian dude playing a Russian dude. There's a boxing movie. I don't remember the actor or who he was playing. But anyway, the actor I'm talking about also played He-Man from the old He-Man movie, which is, by the way, a great movie, and I strongly, highly recommend it. That being said, in the middle of their little boxing fight, there's a scene where, Sylvester Stallone gets punched and gets knocked down, and you see him get back up. But here's the thing. Those scenes take place weeks apart. Because when it was originally filmed, because Sylvester Stallone wanted to do some actual real sparring. Because, it's a movie, they're not actually boxing. So he told the guy, the Russian dude, the guy who plays He-Man, to actually punch him. So, while in the movie, you see him come back right back up, in real life, he was just down and had to go to the hospital. He was taken to the emergency room after getting punched. And it was like weeks later they could record it, if not like a month plus. I can't remember. But Sylvester Stallone's insurance company was trying to not pay for his medical stuff because they looked at the doctor's report of how hard he got hit, and they're like, we're not paying for a car accident. Because they were like, we think a truck hit you. And so he sent a picture of the actor who hit him to the insurance company. It's like, yeah, I got punched by He-Man. That's why it looks like I got hit by a fucking truck. That being said, I've been hit by a truck multiple times. So I've been through multiple failed izakayas. Thankfully, I'm glad I'm not dead. Just saying, I do, however, have a dozen plus staples on the left side of my skull from one particular time where a full-size, big-ass truck hit me going 75 miles an hour. That hurt. I couldn't move my left arm for a couple months. All my ribs were as bruised as possible without being broken. And I had, purple and black welts all over my legs from my hips to my feet that looked and felt like the texture of a basketball. So, yeah. That hurt. By all accounts, should have killed me. Glad it didn't. Was it even possible for a human fist to do this? Time resumed its flow, and Okanogi knelt down, falling to the ground. Akasaka didn't miss on purpose. Akasaka couldn't control his fist because he put everything into one blow. Okanogi should thank Akasaka. If Akasaka had been able to control his attack better, Okanogi's face would have ended up like the van. However, although it didn't hit Okanogi's face, it shattered his spirit. Good job, Akasaka! Clap, 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 clap. Rika applauded. But in this situation, it didn't sound like applause. It almost sounds like Akasaka's fighting spirit was popping like firecrackers. Akasaka pulled back his fist, turned around calmly, and then spoke. "Who's next? I don't want to waste time, so why don't you come at me all at once?" Ah! They knew. Everyone knew that there was no way to defeat Akasaka with their bare hands. They realized they needed weapons. They also needed more people. There should be a better equipped unit in the basement. All of a sudden, things began to move quickly. The remaining mountain dogs emerged from the basement. "You are not permitted to fire on the surface. I repeat, do not fire on the surface. Phoenix 1, give us permission to collect R and retreat immediately." But the mountain dogs who just witnessed Akasaka's battle against Okanogi realized it was time for them to run. They didn't even care about Rika. Who would even think about taking Rika from him after seeing what Akasaka was capable of doing? When Okanogi regained his awareness, he jumped onto a van with the mountain dogs as it drove away. Since Okanogi took off his intercom device to fight with Akasaka, he had no idea what had transpired in the basement. What had transpired? After the mountain dogs broke their promise with Rika, they were supposed to round up the remaining club members. But when Akasaka showed up, the dogs had to be divided into a ground force and a basement force, which altered the situation. Kasai had gone on a counterattack, and the other club members somehow climbed up from the well and helped him. Since the mountain dogs weren't allowed to fire on the surface, they realized it would make the situation worse if Kasai fired his guns once he came up after them. Okanogi was unreachable, so Nightingale 1 had ordered the retreat in his place. Who would bear the responsibility for this? It was probably Okanogi's fault for taking off his intercom device to fight against Akasaka, as he was basically abandoned his job as a commander. But everything happened in the first place because Akasaka showed up, so maybe it was his triumph rather than Okanogi's blunder. Either way, everything was miraculous. But the mountain dogs hadn't run with their tails between their legs. They had simply retreated for the moment. That when they returned, they would have enough men and enough arms ready to kill all who stand in their way. And that would happen very soon. There was no time to waste. Rika! I'm glad you're safe. Yeah, I am. Thanks to a miracle. No, it wasn't a miracle. We worked together, and one of us, Akasaka, came to help you, that's all. Hello! That's true. Some of this can't be called a miracle. Okay, now it's our turn to attack. In the basement, the club members were talking about their grand counterattack. Rika was a little disappointed that she couldn't have joined them, but she was happy that Akasaka had told her what she had been waiting to hear. Rika told them about how heroic he had been, and he got a little embarrassed. Kasai was doing alright, but Shion wasn't doing too well. Of course, it wasn't life-threatening, but she couldn't hear well in her left ear, possibly due to being so close to an explosion. To test her hearing, Mia went around to Shion's left side and whispered some dirty words. She seemed to be able to hear them fairly well. Of course, she might have been hearing through her right ear, though. Shion decided to lie down in the tatami mattress in the torture room while Eri kept an eye on her. Mion was very worried, but Shion told her that she was okay and forced her to go ahead with the next operation. Mion complained that Shion didn't understand her feelings. Now, they would have to come up with an idea to rescue Tomotaki from the clinic. They had Akasaka and Kasai on their side, both whom were used to battles. Also, they had Eri, who knew about the secret basement of the clinic. They would have to get moving quickly, but they had to at least have a plan. It was almost 10:30 a.m. Because of what they had gone through, they were exhausted, and it felt like it was almost evening. This is why you need Red Bull. But if they were at school, it would be only second or third period. They had to pull themselves together. They had to regain their fighting spirit. Eri checked Shion's left ear with a pen light. I'm not a specialist, but your eardrum may have been damaged. Do you have a headache or feel dizzy at all? No. I'll be just fine. Eri wet his handkerchief and wiped Shion's face gently. Are you surprised that the manager of the Hinamizawa fighters was in a gunfight, I mean? Yeah, I am. I heard you were ready to give up your own life. Mabura-san told me. Jeez. Things like that sound cool in the moment, but when you survive, they're pretty embarrassing. If something happens to you and I live, my sister will never forgive me for that. I don't have my loved one anymore, but Sis does. I don't mean to tease you, but you're talking about Satoshi-kun, aren't you? Well, I don't know. Who knows where he could be? I don't even know if he's alive or dead. Hey, Dr. Eri? He's alive? You've kept him in a coma this whole time. He's alive. Eh? Shion's thoughts stopped in their tracks when Eri answered immediately. Satoshi Hojo-kun is alive. He developed terminal symptoms due to excessive stress last year. Mion and the other club members had already told Shion about the current situation, so she kind of understood what he meant. I thought I could treat him with the same drug I used on Satoko-chan, but Satoko-chan was one of the very rare and lucky cases. Satoshi-kun's treatment has been very difficult. It's still going on. Satoshi-kun? He is still alive. I'm sorry for not telling you this until now. Satoshi-kun is in the basement of the clinic, probably next to Tomotaki. Shion and Eri returned from the torture room. Shion looked very serious, as if she had gained the determination to fight. Keiichi and the others were just talking about how the enemy found where they were. Shion answered immediately. Do you think there might be some kind of device in Dr. Eri's clothes? Not his personal clothes, but something like the clinic provides? Do you mean my coat? Do they have to, put that on there? Does he not wash it? They probably wash it for him. So they can just take off the device and put... Excuse me, let me check. Shion checked Eri all over, like an inspector at an airport. Then she found a little button on the back side of his collar. It was a little round button. There was no reason why a button like this would be on the back of the collar. This is probably it. This is how they found us without following the car. Damn it! But as long as we have this button, it's possible for us to create a version, right? Yeah, because we can just they'll think... Is Shion gonna drive the car somewhere with the button? So Shion and Kasai? Because they're gonna think where at least Eri's at wherever the button is. So they may have planted it on us. A decoy unit with this button can lure the enemy away, and while the clinic is short staffed, we can attack and rescue Tomotaki-san. So yeah, that's the thing. Their very thing they used against us actually gives us an advantage. Yes, my phone is ringing and I'm going to ignore it because it's all the way over there. And I'm trying to record this. I think that's the best way. Oh ho ho. In that case, the decoy unit should bring our foes to my hills. Yeah, that area would be perfect. It's pretty vast, so the enemy will have to bring lots of men. rendering their clinic practically empty. But we'll have no way of knowing how many will stay behind at the clinic. Mr. Tomataki is there, so they'll probably leave an appropriate number of men to guard him. In that case, we should add something they want more than Tomataki to the decoy unit. Are you sure, Rika? Yes. As long as I'm with everyone else in Satogo's Hills, I won't be caught. But here's the question. How do they know you're with the decoy unit? Also, we should at least try to possibly make it where they don't know it's a decoy unit. Only we club members know the hill well enough, so maybe it's a good idea to use us as the decoy unit. Yeah, that works. So the adult unit will attack the clinic, while the decoy unit lures the enemy away. What's the chance of success? As long as Akasaka-san pretends not to see anything, since I heard you're a policeman. Kasai spoke while loading his shotgun. I'm off duty now, Akasaka replied while checking an automatic pistol. He hadn't used this particular gun before, but he was used to handling guns. He was prepared to fire, too. Eri tried to memorize how to remove the safety, but he looked nervous. Have you ever used a machine gun before? No, I've only ever used handguns. Then maybe you should get used to it. Make sure you have a full magazine at all times, and have another gun just in case the magazine gets stuck. Kasai-san? Is that a shotgun? By the way, I've been watching a little bit of a Let's Play of Spyro 3 Blind. Granted, it was like uploaded like 6 years ago, but the odd number shots are slug bullets. They can suppress enemies as well as destroy walls. Wow, I know people call you Shotgun Tatsu, but you really are a shotgun expert, huh? Shotguns are very deadly. Therefore, even without firing a shot, my opponents may surrender. By the way, I have some bulletproof vests. You should wear them. Kasai sounded very dependable, but at the same time, he reminded everyone that this operation would be a very dangerous one. It wasn't a simple fistfight. Even a veteran soldier can die in a gun battle. There is always a chance of death, regardless of how well trained you are. Yeah, I mean, that's the main thing is this. Like, you could literally be like someone as tough as, say, like Mike Tyson. A gun will still kill you. In fact, Kasai and Akasaka were the only people who could be depended upon. Kasai talked Eri out of carrying a gun because it might be dangerous for him to have one. Someone could get injured by friendly fire. He wouldn't be that bad of a shot. Mion suggested that maybe there should be more people on the team, but both Kasai and Akasaka refused because those who couldn't even handle guns at all might end up as dead weight. Well, then I have to go. Huh? We lack firepower. I'll bring my Ingram to support you. How about this? Why don't you, the only person who is not one of the adults who can handle a gun, bring a gun with you with the decoy team so you can protect all of us with your machine gun? But are you okay, Shion? How's your ear? Oh, it's all better now. I'm back to normal. Sorry to make you wait. Shion, what did I just say? Of course. I heard it. Mion had tricked her. Mion didn't say anything. Shion still couldn't hear out of her left ear. Shion, it's too dangerous. To be honest with you, you shouldn't even be in the decoy unit. You should just hide somewhere. Sis, listen. I now have a reason why I have to go to the clinic. But if I mention it, Satoko is going to want to come too. But she just can't. There will be an indoor fight, the enemy will fire at us. Do you mean? Mion sensed it. She sensed the reason why Shion had to go to the clinic. That was why she didn't say anything more. If she was in Shion's position, she would go even if neither of your ears could hear. It's too dangerous, Shion. Son, please think it over. Satoko, Shion will join the rescue unit. Satoko, the decoy unit is counting on you. Concentrate on your job. Shi-chan. You know, right, Rena-san? You know I'm not planning to die. Yeah, I do. Determined girls can never die. That's right. Even if they kill me, I won't die. She and Rena gave each other a high five. Okay, then it's decided. Let's get moving. I'll take the button. Here you are. Good luck, Rika-chama. You too, Chi. You believed strongly in a miracle, and now it's going to happen. Therefore, this is a chance that God has given you. I think there were days I didn't believe. I think someone even admonished me for that. It is difficult to keep believing, isn't it? But you have believed. But you believed. You regretted not believing, so you believed. So, please cherish this day. Your strong will brought about today, and you will no longer have to suffer what you have been suffering up until now. Hey, are you my sis's new friend? I don't know your name, but thank you. Yeah, I think it'll go well. Of course it'll go well. Oyoshiro-sama guarantees it. Ha 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 ha! The mountain dogs had retreated and reorganized their units. They were now ready to attack again. Takano was furious at them for not being able to bring Ara back to the clinic, even though they had her in their hands. She gave an order to capture with all the mountain dogs' forces put together. Their vehicles were at the clinic, and they were all standing by for the order to attack. Takano wasn't the only one who was furious. Okanogi was as angry as her. That rookie policeman 5 years ago had grown. He even made Okanogi yield. He couldn't accept that he was defeated, so he was bent on revenge. The reason why the order to attack was held off was because the signal from the transmission device on Erie was momentarily interrupted. They interpreted it to mean that Erie had gone even further down into the basement. The mountain dogs assumed the club members would go even further underground and try to escape by using some kind of secret passageway. The passageway couldn't be that long. They'd have to come up to the surface eventually. The mountain dogs were planning to catch them as soon as they surfaced. The villagers were too busy with finishing setup for the festival, so they had no idea what was going on. By this time, the mountain dogs had shut down the telephone network. They were afraid the club members would call the police. The only way into the town was being watched by the blockade unit, so the club members couldn't escape that way. Ara and her friends had to come up to the surface. They couldn't be thinking of staying underground until things settled down. Their lifeline Tomataki was in captivity. They couldn't be stupid enough to think of attacking the clinic to rescue him. More than likely, they would try to escape from the village on foot. They would probably call the police to help them. The patrol unit had several cars driving around the village, their eyes peeled for the signal of the transmitter or those on the run. It was time to wait patiently. The battle had returned to the starting point and the balance of power was even again. Scheduled report from Skylark 2. All clear. They can't stay quiet for that long. We have to be patient, they'll turn up. By the way, where's the princess? I believe she's interrogating First Lieutenant Tomataki. She's trying to talk him into joining our side. At this point, that may be the only way to settle matters peacefully. Good thing we captured him alive. With the princess gone and no phone calls from Tokyo, I can finally enjoy this cool air-conditioned breeze. Commander, there's a radio call from Tokyo. It's from Nomura-san, and it's for you, not for the Major. Good grief, if the phone's no good, they'll use a radio, huh? Well, I wonder what the Queen and Tokyo wants from me now. Okanogi the Mountain Dogs here. Over. Tomataki was being held in a small meeting room. He was shoved under a desk. He was restrained so tightly that he couldn't even turn around. Takano was sitting in a chair next to the table, staring at a whiteboard. It outlined the research plan that was to be shut down, but Takano wasn't really reading it, she was just staring. Neither of them said a thing. Silence filled the meeting room. It's almost 11 a.m. What a long day. I was woken up so early and it's not even noon yet. Tomataki didn't reply. Jiro-san, do you think you can help me? I don't need the mountain dogs. I only want you. The mountain dogs can't comfort me. I've finally realized that your insensitivity is the only thing that can. Jiro-san, you knew that, right? That was why you acted that way, right? You thought there was no use in trying to sympathize and you tried to comfort me. That's what you thought, right? You only pretended to be insensitive, to help me enjoy myself, didn't you? I'm not speaking to you as Major Takano. I'm speaking to you as Mio Takano. You still won't talk to me? A hostage may only give his name, rank, and identification number. Takano hung her head. I don't have the key to those handcuffs. Sorry. That's fine. I didn't ask you to remove them. Would you like a cup of coffee? No thanks. I don't want you to have to help me go to the bathroom in this position. It was hardly a conversation, but Takano was happy that Tomataki had finally replied. However, that wouldn't solve any of their problems. If you must kill me, I'm alright with that. I made my peace when I was caught. Yeah, I was planning to kill you tonight. I'm glad you're prepared for that. Good. Then my resolve won't go to waste. Hey, don't you want to live? If you promise to join me, you won't have to die. My superiors say there's no point in keeping you alive, but I'll work something out. Who are your superiors? I don't know. The person who contacts me calls herself Nomura, but I'm sure that's not her real name. I really don't know. But you must have talked to her before you decided to do this, right? I only talked to her a few times. When I think back, she probably just wanted to use me. But at the time, I thought she was the only person who could understand me. I understand. I knew there was a time when you needed someone to help you. I wish I could have been there for you. Yeah, if you were there, that would have been so nice. Nobody has died yet, but I'm going to kill them. You have your masterminds, but there are other masterminds in Tokyo who oppose them. Most of them want to hush up this issue. You may think it's too late to do anything about it, but you're wrong. There is still something you can do. You can make this whole thing disappear. And my grandfather's research on the syndrome would disappear too, won't it? Takano-san, what do you want to happen? Takano closed her eyes for a bit while she came up with an answer. Her grandfather's research had been insulted. She wanted those with higher positions of authority to take it seriously. Nomura couldn't make that happen. When the final operation was enacted, the higher-ups of the country would have to read the article, and they would have to believe what's in it. They will authorize the execution of the emergency manual, and yes, that would create an irreversible disaster, but at the same time the disaster would prove that her grandfather's article had merit. Would you be satisfied with that? Sure, I'll be satisfied. That is the purpose of my life. I asked you before. You're going to disappear after this operation, aren't you? Mio Takano's purpose will be fulfilled, and she will vanish from the face of the earth. You'll return to being Miyoko Tanashi. That's your real name, isn't it? How long has it been since she heard that name? Takano closed her eyes slightly. Yeah, that's right. Soon enough. I'll return to being Miyoko Tanashi. Tanashi Miyoko lost her parents and was sent to an orphanage as a little girl. She died after being tortured. That's what you said, right? Yes, I did. I'll have to go back inside of that metal fence. Have you ever experienced something like that, Jiro-san? Takano told Toмотaki about her horrible experiences, which were simply unimaginable for normal people. I'm going to return to that place, and this time grandfather won't come help me. So, I will die. If I was dead, I wouldn't exist here. If I wasn't here, then there wouldn't be an Erie Institute. I wouldn't be stuck living out such a bizarre fate. You're planning to die, aren't you? I'm supposed to be rewarded after this operation, but I don't believe that. I might be suddenly killed one day. Don't you have someone who you can trust? My clients are just clients. They're not my allies, but the mountain dogs are. I paid them more than enough. But you can't truly trust them, can you? They are my allies. They caught you, and they're trying to catch R and her friends as we speak. They're helping me, but that's not the kind of ally you need right now. You're right. They aren't the kind of ally I need right now. Takano paused. She paused because Toмотaki had just said exactly what she had been thinking. Since the day Toмотaki disappeared, she had been feeling restless. Takano had to admit it, that she needed Toмотaki. Jiro-san, I paid the mountain dogs a few 100 million yen to be on my side. I have a little more than 100 million yen left. How much do I need to pay you? You should think about how much it really costs to get what you truly want. That's rather a pretentious thing to say in this situation. You want me to say it's something that I can't buy with money, right? Why don't you give up? You may be able to tame the mountain dogs with your money, but that won't work with me. But I want you on my side. If you want, I'll give you everything, not just money. You can do whatever you want to do with me. If you want me to lick your shoes, I will. Isn't that enough? Toмотaki didn't reply. It wasn't an affirmation by silence, but a signal to Takano that he had already told her everything he meant to say, and the most saddening form of silence for her. I'll make you breakfast every morning. I'll show up before you when we meet. I'll never make you wait just to test you. Isn't that enough? Jiro-san? Toмотaki didn't say a word. He couldn't see her face under the desk, but he could sense it. This wasn't the time to say anything to her. Remaining silent was the only thing he could do. Suddenly the phone rang. Takano sniffled once and picked it up. This is Takano? I see. Understood. I'll be right there. Takano stood up as she put down the phone. The mountain dogs found R. We found Erie's signal, too. They must already know the roads are closed and are trying to escape through the mountains on foot. It won't be easy to hunt them there, but we're actually at an advantage since there's nobody else around. See you, Jiro-san. I think this will be our final conversation. I wish I could have heard you say something at the end of it all. And still, Toмотaki stayed silent. Takano ran out of the room. She didn't look like she was hurrying back to work. It appears that they came out above ground in the mountains. They might have tried to get some help from the villagers, but a patrol vehicle found R and some of her friends and started tailing them. For a time, R and the transmitter were operating separately, but they rejoined on the mountains on the map. Are you saying they split up and then met back up? They must have planned their escape route, I guess. I'm sure they're confident that they know their way around the mountains well enough. If there are too many trees, or if the bushes are too high, our weapons won't work as well as they should. But that's what the karate guy would think, at least. Okanogi was determined to catch them this time. He kept saying how he simply caught off guard before. They can't escape this time. We must catch them before they get to Okonomiya. Yes, I know. Since they know the mountains better than we do, we'll have to get serious. All our units will besiege and overrun them. All units. Did you hear that? Think of it like a soccer game. Our opponents are going to try and score a goal. That goal is Okonomiya. Don't let them get there. The karate guy is mine, though. I will absolutely bring him down. Phoenix here, roger that. Nightingale here, roger that. Skylark here, roger that. Heron here, roger that. All units, move out. If we fail, it's game over. Quite so. We cannot fail. I'll take command of the corps from here. Do you think it'll be alright to leave Tomataki behind? Sure. We're leaving 8 armed security guards behind. Even if the enemy came at them with double that number, they'll be fine. That karate guy will be more of a problem. We simply can't underestimate him. The security unit guarded the basement of the Iryu Institute, which was the heart of the organization. Therefore, they were armed more heavily than anyone else in the Mountain Dogs. Okanogi's confidence in the security unit and his newfound obsession with defeating Akasaka made the diversionary plan a success. But at the same time, that meant the decoy club members would have to deal with the full force of the Mountain Dogs. The dogs' white vans ran through the village. While they couldn't fire shots outside, all members were carrying stun guns that fired electric needles. While poor on the range, they could subdue a target instantly. With a flip of a switch, they could change between merely stunning or killing their target. The perfect weapon for people like the Mountain Dogs. The vans separated into groups and headed for the mountains. They were planning to surround their enemies and then smoke them out. Commander, all units are standing by in position. Later, guys.